For my English project, I wanted to create an obsession documentary. I would go around and talk to people about things that they were obsessed with because over time, the definition of obsession has evolved. According to the American Heritage Dictionary of the English Language, 4th edition, an obsession is a compulsive preoccupation with a fixed idea or an unwanted feeling or emotion, often accompanied by symptoms of anxiety. And these days, people just use it to talk about something they like if they're not talking about it in context of obsessive compulsive disorder or an obsessive personality. So my goal with the documentary was to talk to people about their obsessions and see what if it interferes with their lives, but it actually transformed into just more finding what people were passionate about. I've heard some really amazing stories and a little bit heartbreaking at times, and just became caught up in people's passions for things. And as part of my original goal, I did take a break from my obsession from October 21st to October 23rd, and I wrote down how I felt about it. So, what's my obsession? I usually say it's this video game series called Fire Emblem. I actually haven't beat any of the games because I have this weird concept of not wanting it to end. But for 3 days, I didn't do anything relating to it. I didn't go online, look anything up. I didn't read anything about it. I didn't listen to any music from the games. And it got a bit hard at times. And that made me wonder exactly how it affected me. But when I came back to it, I felt just a lot better. Like, separation makes the heart go fonder. So I'm going to show you, everybody here, about what an obsession is to many people at Drexel, and what my own experience was like, as well as how an obsession in general affects people. So originally an obsession meant something that was a preoccupation that caused anxiety in the person who had it, but it's kind of evolved over time, just means something that people like. So what are you obsessed with?
Nail polish.
No.
I am obsessed with nail polish.
Like the sparkly kind, any particular color, a particular company?
I'm obsessed with all types of nail polish. I have about 160 bottles, and I have them organized by color and by like shade of the color, and then and in different crates for like different types of nail polish.
Wow. Like in your dorm room?
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool. So then you have one for every occasion.
Yeah.
What else? So when did you start loving nail polish?
I started loving nail polish my sophomore year of high school when I started getting a lot of work, and I started getting really stressed. I realized that doing my nails was a way to help relieve that stress. So I started doing my nails more and more and more, like every single day. And the more I did them, the more nail polish I needed, and the more fun it was.
Do you ever do different colors on one nail and different color on another, or do you usually just keep it consistent?
I do that sometimes, but I'm a really big fan of doing sorts of designs, like different stripes or dots or flowers or just different patterns.
Do you like use stencils, or do you just do it yourself?
I use tape.
Oh yeah, I've seen people do that. When did you start playing guitar?
When I was about 2.
Really?
Yeah, my grandfather had a old guitar, and I used to sneak into his room and steal it from him while he was sleeping. I would start strumming on it. I didn't really know how at the time.
Oh, that's so cool. I mean, I was gonna say cute, but
I really sucked, but it's okay.
yeah, I don't think anybody's good when they first start
Probably not.
anything.
Yeah, I've been in a couple bands, but it's just the way I am. I kind of enjoy doing my own thing a little bit more, soloing, and
Yeah, that makes sense.
a lot of times when I'm in groups, I feel obligated to do what everyone else is trying to do, and I feel like it restricts my creativity a little bit.
Yeah, that's true. Have you What's your favorite song to play?
My favorite song to play. God, that is a tough one. Right now, I want to say it's "Yellow Lead Better" by Pearl Jam, but
Anyway, so when did you start sailing?
Actually, when I was like 2 weeks old, my parents took me like on a boat trip to the Caribbean.
Wow,
Like,
that sounds
it's-
really cool.
It started early.
Yeah. Do you have your own boat that you maintain, like the rigging?
I'm learning rigging right now.
Yeah.
I mean, when I go to club, I help set up the rigging. Pretty much just my job is untying nuts and retying nuts.
Do you race or do you just like to
Yeah,
just be
it's-
out there?
Yeah, I used to not race, but starting this year, I now race.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited.
Yeah, I think I guess there is a club here.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm only two.
Do you usually sail with family, friends, or by
Yeah,
yourself?
like when I'm at home, like over the summer, we go to the Thousand Islands every summer, and I sail with my dad or brother. And like here, I sail with the club.
So the person we're talking to right now actually is also a big sailing fan. So let's get started. So how long have you been sailing?
I've been sailing for 12 years, ever since I was 7 years old.
Cool. Do you have a boat or?
I do. I have a single-handed dinghy, which I sail during the summer, and I sail on numerous other boats, like 27-foot, two-sailed sloops, as well as a 30-foot, one-sailed, 500-square-foot wooden boat.
I have an
which is a lot
idea
of fun.
of like what the different types of boats are, but what do you mean when you say single-handed? Because does that mean that you can operate with one hand?
No, single-handed would be only one person is in the boat,
Oh.
as opposed to bigger boats where there's 4 or
Yeah.
8 people.
So like all hands on deck is what
Right.
you mean, right? What do you like most about it?
I like being on the water. I like being around the people are especially nice. Everybody seems to have a same kind of mindset when they're on the water. Everybody's really cordial to each other. It's a self-policing sport. So the people that you get to know are some of the best people you'll meet in the rest of your life.
And you have a regatta shirt, and so I'm guessing that you compete.
Yes, I grew up competing for the past 10 or 9 years in junior regattas, and then when I'm older, ever since I was about 16 or 17, I started competing in upper level, adult level regattas, which consisted of long weekends or
Yeah.
stuff like that, as well as sailing on the team here, which consists of a lot of weekend regattas.
So, do you prefer sailing by yourself or in a team? I mean,
As
I
soon as
guess like for casual and for regattas. So both of those.
Casual sailing is always a little more fun, but you do get the rush when you are racing. It is really intense. Everybody's trying to do well. And as soon as you finish, there's always something to talk about, which is nice. But sailing single-handed is just what I'm used to. I've done it for 9 years, so getting into boats with more people is a little strange to me, but I'm actually really starting to enjoy it.
How long have you liked Slim Jims?
Well, maybe 3 years now. 3 years.
How do you, I guess you just bought them or someone bought them for you?
Oh yeah. I used to live not in this country. I used to live in the Philippines, and one of my friends brought them back from the States, and I guess I've been hooked ever since.
That's so cool. Did he bring any other kind of food and,
Jolly Ranchers and Sour Patch Kids.
but you didn't end up as big a fan of them or?
I guess I like meat in stick form.
Yeah. So, when did you become obsessed with tea?
Senior year of high school.
Wait, first, tea has caffeine in it, right?
It depends what type of tea. White tea doesn't have has very little caffeine, almost none. Green tea has about half a cup of what a coffee would have, and black tea is fully caffeinated.
So, do you drink coffee at all, or is tea your choice of beverage to get you going?
I try to drink it without caffeine, which is why I didn't drink coffee, and why I stick with white tea and green tea typically.
Well, that's cool. You drink it every day, or
Yeah.
like how much a day, if you don't mind?
8 cups.
I guess that's a lot. What else? So, why did you start drinking tea? Just because, or?
Yeah, I just like tea, and then my sister got me a tea from Teavana, which is a higher end tea place that's just sells loose leaf tea and kind of escalated very quickly.
Obsessions don't always bring out the best in others. Consider this little guy. Granted, he might not know the significance of the gesture, but he knows it's not something you usually do in public. And this article actually is sort of about obsession. One last thing. Have you ever been sailing when it was really not a good time to be sailing? I'm talking like a hurricane, maybe just a nasty storm.
Yes. Unfortunately, there have been a couple times where I got caught on the water during a lightning storm or a complete downpour, and that consisted of having to flip your boat so the metal mast was in the water, and you'd have to hold your boat underneath the water chute when you get electrocuted.
That sounds really difficult.
We were caught in a channel coming back from a regatta over the ocean, and we were on deck putting things away, and just torrential downpoured on us.
Oh my god, that's just nuts.
It happens.
So this is a journal entry I made last Wednesday, and it was reflecting on how my project was going so far, how my obsession break went. I noticed that my project was going in a direction that I didn't expect, because people seemed happy about their obsessions and that they mean so much to people. And I talked about how when I ended my break with my obsession, it was like entering a bubble, and it was just a really, I want to say, profound experience, which might sound weird, but that's how I felt. So when did you start lifting?
I started lifting religiously about 5 years ago, after I came out of the hospital.
Do you want to talk about that, or?
I was hit by a car October 9th, 2008, and I suffered a traumatic brain injury, and then I was in a coma for a month, and in that period I lost about 50 pounds.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I mean, casi pirella, probably was thing fit. What? And you just decided that you wanted to get back in shape, and
Yeah, I couldn't walk. My legs couldn't support my own body weight after, and I needed to relearn how to walk, talk, run, move, regain proprioception, all of that. So I had about a year and a half of pretty intense physical therapy, and then following that, it was just lifting.
wow. So, is there anybody else in your family or that you're friends with that you, I guess, kind of are a team, like you kind of urge each other on and stuff?
After I more or less turned my whole physique around, because I used to be outrageously fat, my dad was sort of inspired. He started running, and he hit 300 pounds about 2 years ago, and in September, I think it was 22nd, he decided he was going to start running after he dropped me off at boarding school, and 2 years later, he's 2/3 the man he used to be. He's lost 105 pounds and now weighs as much as I do.
Wow. That's so cool. Good for him. What's your favorite part about lifting?
There's a really funny scene in the documentary Pumping Iron, which was made in 1974 about the 1977 or the 1976 Mr. Olympia. There's a whole scene where Arnold talks about the pump. So the pump is it's vasodilation, and there's so much blood squeezed in your muscles. It feels like, especially like with your arms, that your arms just tear out of the skin. It's the greatest feeling in the world.
And how do you feel, I guess, when you get a new color?
I'm so happy when I get a new color. It's crazy. Like, it's the best feeling in the world, especially if it's a shade I've never had before, and it's one that I've been wanting for a really long time. I start thinking about all the different ways that I can use it and all the different color combinations or seasonal things.
It's fun, but most people I've found that get into it don't really stick with it in the
Yeah.
long run.
What makes you think that you stuck with it? I mean, why do you think you stuck with it?
I couldn't tell you. It's just something I can't remember not playing guitar, so I can't explain what it would be like to stick with it. It never occurred to me, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense, but
Yeah, that makes plenty of sense. Do you think you want to keep sailing the rest of your life?
Absolutely. There's no question in my mind that I'm going to be sailing until the day I die.
So, do you think you want to keep lifting for the rest of your life?
keeps me healthy.
Yeah.
saved my life and turned my life around. And fitness is now just an integral part of who I am. So yes, lifting will be part of my life forever.
Cool. Thank you so much.
You're